Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video I'm going to be testing out some of your guys' favourite concealers. So I put out a little thing on my community and I also posted it on Instagram stories to let me know what your favourite kind of concealers are, your top 3 or just your general favourite concealers, because I was intrigued and I wanted to test some of those out. So I picked quite a few people said the same thing. A lot of people said Lily Lolo the concealer, which obviously I've tried. The Hint Beauty concealer popped up, as did the Kosas one, which obviously I've all tried. But there was one that actually popped up a lot and then one that I was just more intrigued with. So I've got 2 here to play with. So I picked up the RMS and Cover Up. That was the one that popped up a lot. I went for shade 00. And then this one intrigued me. It's from Milk Makeup and it's their Sunshine Under Eye Tint and Brighten. So it's a 3-in-1 this one. So it's an eye tint, brightener and hydrator. So they're very different concealers, which is actually why I went for both of them, because I feel like this one's going to be similar to my Hint Beauty concealer, give me, I think, a fair amount of coverage. Obviously I don't know yet. Whereas this is very much a no makeup type of product, so it'll give me very light coverage. So I won't be like pitting these against each other and saying, oh, this one's better than this one. I'm going to test them for what they are themselves and just have fun and review them. So I want to do this on a regular basis. So if you ever see pop up in the community chat or on Instagram stories asking for like your top 3, whatever it may be, that's probably the reason why, is because I want to have a little video and play around with some of your products that you love as well. So I am going to start off with the RMS first. Like I said, this is the one that was most said. I'm going to do a few tests with both of these and I'm going to use the same products with each test just to make it fair. Like I said, I'm not pitting them against each other because they're very, very different products by sounds of it. But I'm just intrigued and we'll see how it goes. So first up, RMS. This is the Uncover Up. So it's I think it's a corrector as well. I went in 00. You get, how much do you get here? 5.67 grams of product. It's a very similar packaging. I think that was the second to lightest they had. The very similar packaging to the other stuff that they have. And I see it pop up a lot and I think it's one of their best sellers, to Uncover Up. I think it can be used as kind of all over the face as well. So I'm just going to read a bit about it first. So this is actually discounted on Naturissimo, so it was, well, at the time I'm filming, which is the 19th of January. I think this may go up in February, but it did have £9.50 off. So this is a skin perfecting illuminating concealer / light foundation for the eyes and face to give the skin a more youthful, radiant glow while hiding any imperfections. I'm going to focus this video more on the concealer side and I will play around with it as a foundation at a later stage. Any other information? So it's formulated to reveal and enhance healthy skin. The organic skincare product makes the skin look more youthful, healthy and more radiant than you can imagine. It actually helps to heal the skin and is virtually undetectable, so it's fantastic for men also. This lightweight product can be used as concealer or light foundation. It moisturises the skin and provides a subtle coverage and also minimises the appearance of pores. You can even go without moisturiser. This concealer contains all ingredients to treat your skin as it covers without ever making the skin look heavy or dry. So I went with 00, which is a light shade for fair skin. Like I said, it's the second to lightest there. Okay, I'm going to quickly just read about how to use it. So it says use sparingly with fingers over the T-zone area or wherever any extra coverage is desired. We prefer skin to skin application for better blending, but you can also use foundation brush. It will self-adjust your skin tone if they are not an exact match due to the mineral pigments used. For overly dehydrated skin, minimally apply the lip and skin balm first. For a matte look or for oily skin types, set with powder. Okay, so I will actually, as it suggests using fingers, for this time I will use fingers, and then for other applications I'll use my brushes. Like for this one, I'm going to start off with the aloe vera gel to act as a tacky base. So I'll try my other primer as well, and I'll try different setting methods. But I'll use these products for when I first test the other product as well. And we'll see what works best for each product or each concealer. Okay, so we get a nice tacky base for this. So I'll let this sink in for a bit before I go in with any other application. Okay, for foundation, I'm going to go with the Kiko Insta Moisture Glow for the first test. And I have mine in 1R. I'm not going to go too heavy with this. Just there are a few imperfections showing through. I'm going to definitely avoid under the eyes as much as I can help because I want to see how the concealer works. But like I said, I'm going to do it with a no makeup look as well, where I won't use any foundation. So as it suggests, it wants to use fingers, so that's what I'm going to do. So this is 00, which actually looks quite dark for being the second one, but we'll go anyway. Oh, do you know what? It's got much more of a balmy texture. It very much reminds me of the blusher texture. It's got a bit more of a balmy gel texture. It feels nothing like the Hidden Beauty concealer, which I thought it'd feel a bit more like that, but it doesn't. It doesn't mean it's a bad thing, but I had it in my mind that's how it'd be, but no, not quite. Let me grab a brush. Okay, so we're going to use fingers like this just. So I'm actually, do you know what? Let's zoom in even closer. Ooh. So you can see a bit more the discoloration under my eyes. So we'll do one eye at a time so we can see. So I'm just going to use my finger. I don't know if I use too much or not. And just pat that in. Obviously using my ring finger to try and be a bit more delicate around the area. Okay. Wow, you can definitely see that's made a difference on my eyes. I feel like I don't have too, I'm lucky I don't have too dark under eyes, so it's hard to know if someone really dark under eyes whether you have to cover, but I guess you do a bit of colour correcting first. That is very lightweight, almost looks undetectable on the skin. I'm going to put a bit more on just to see if you can layer it up, but also just to see what the texture looks like if you layer it up slightly. So I've got more on my finger there. I'm going to go back in. I am really only focusing this on the area I actually need it. I'm not bringing it all the way down my eyes and under my eyes. Well, right from the bat, it definitely sits gorgeously underneath the eyes. Have to see how well that lasts and whether putting powder over the top affects it. I will do tests without powder as well, just so we can play around with it, but yeah. Yeah, so one thing I'm really noticing how almost undetectable that looks on the skin. But that's definitely given me, it's definitely covered what I needed it to cover. Okay, we're going to go the nose section first, which might be a bit tricky with my hands to do, but we'll go with it. I mean, they aren't looking too red around there today. So actually that's not too bad. Now nearly all the time product really does sit in my nose crevice, so by the end of the day usually there's a bit of a build up there, so we'll see if that does the same with this. Like I said, most of the time it does that anyway with me, so I'm not too concerned if it does do it because I'm used to it, but we'll see. Time to tackle this area in the middle. I think for the chin I'm probably going to want to prefer a brush, just because it'll pick up a bit more product. But I know that's kind of the area where I do need that little bit more coverage. I'm actually going to switch fingers to my middle finger for this one. Pick up a bit more product, I think. So that's how it's looking on the under eyes. And then we move to the chin. Like I said, I like how natural it looks on the skin. Virtually undetectable, which is nice, but it's covered what it needs to cover. The task will be if it remains covered and how well it lasts. Because I'm not actually going to put anything on my eyes today, I'm actually going to take a little bit and put it across my lids because they are looking very red. So that's how we're looking. Like I said, I think it's covered what I need it to cover. I like how undetectable it looks on the skin, very natural looking. I'm going to quickly just do the rest of my face makeup. So I'm going to show a bit of cream blusher on today. This is Isabella from Lily Lolo. And then just add a touch of highlighter and use Afterglow from Lily Lolo. And then what we're going to do is add some powder. So I'm taking the Madeira powder. This is the Air Equals Soft Silk. I'll take it on a Botanics brush. And I'm going to do my usual settings. I'm going to tap it under the eyes first. Okay, and before we go any further, let's see how that's done. Got the mirror. Okay, I don't think that's disrupted the product. I think it still looks very lightweight on the skin. So I don't think that's, I don't think that initial application has had any effect, apart from obviously making it look a bit matter just to set it. I don't think it's had any effect on the product initially, but we'll see how it wears throughout the day. Let's do a bit of setting around here, and of course the T-zone area. Just gonna add a little something to the lips. So this is an initial application of the RMS and cover up. Like I said, application wise, I definitely think you're going in. So obviously I used the finger technique as suggested. I think it covered what needed to be covered. I had to layer up a little bit on the chin, but it did definitely give a lightweight finish. I definitely think it looked, especially unset, almost undetectable. I think once set it looks a little bit more obvious, but more because you've mattified the skin. But I don't think it makes it look heavy or cakey or disrupts it in any way. But I think anytime you add a bit of powder on top, that kind of makes it look just a little bit more noticeable anyway. So we'll see how well that is going to last. The time is currently 10 to 11. So I'll have this on all day, and we'll come in, I'll do little check-ins here and there, see how it's lasted. And I haven't decided whether I'm going to do the first impressions of the next concealer and swap and change, or do like the first half of this video RMS, second half Milk Beauty, but we'll see. You'll find out how I've edited it and how I filmed it. So yeah, initial application I think is lovely, and we'll be back throughout the day to see how it lasts. Okay, so it's now 20 to 2, I've just had some lunch, so I thought I'd do a quick check-in now, show you how everything is looking. It's under eye wise, I think actually it's looking not really different, a little bit settled into the lines, but that's quite normal, you can't really avoid that to a degree. But it's still looking, I'd say, pretty good under the eyes. It's come off a little bit here, I don't know if that's eating or not. But the chin area still looks good. And it is starting to bunch around my nose here a little bit. Here's check-in number 1. Overall I still think, unless you're looking up close, if you're looking from a distance, I think everything still looks pretty nice and in good condition. So I'll come back later and we'll do another check-in. Okay, last check-in of the day, it's 10 past 6 currently. This is how I am looking, so we start with under the eyes. I'd say no difference from earlier, like I said, it's settled into the fine lines, as you can see, but in terms of coverage, I think coverage is still the same. It doesn't look cakey or heavy or anything like that. Around my nose, a little bit of bunching up. And then my chin, yeah, around my mouth where I've eaten, it's come off, but the actual chin area still seems to be on there. It looks quite shiny at the moment. But yeah. So of course this is my first day of playing with it. I'm going to do quite a few tests, different products, see which is the best way to use it and how it lasts. But I'd say overall this looks to be a relatively nice concealer. Like I said, I like the fact it's kind of undetectable on the skin. It's very lightweight. It does give good coverage, I think. Possibly if you had really dark under eyes, I think you'd have to colour correct as well. But I don't think it looks too bad. So yeah, I'll come back, I'll do a few more different types of wear tests, play with different products with it, and keep going with the wear tests and check-ins. Okay, so this bit will have to be a voiceover just due to time constraints and work. So I'm just using my aloe vera gel, Madara foundation, and then I'll go in with the RMS concealer. I'm glad I am doing a voiceover for these bits because the footage in total is 2 hours long. I think I managed to edit it down to about an hour. So I'm using the brush this time around instead of my fingers to apply this. I do think it gives a bit more coverage using a brush and actually blends out a bit better onto the skin. And also it's easier for me to get into my nose as well using a brush. So I stipple on the chin area just to give the most coverage possible. And yeah, definitely editing this back, things look very different on camera than they do in real life. Like one thing I will note is because of the camera lights, everything looks shinier than it actually is in real life. And yeah, things just didn't look quite as nice as they did in real life, which was interesting. I'm doing a bit of a powder routine here, so I'm going in with the Hourglass bronzer. I then go with the Hourglass blusher, and then I go ahead and set with my Madara powder. And everything sat really nicely as the initial application with this. Kind of similar to yesterday, all sat nicely to begin with. The powder didn't disrupt the concealer or anything like that still. And the new foundation, again, didn't really disrupt anything or change anything with the initial application. So I'm just doing a little bit to the rest of my face, ready for work. Yeah, like I said, I think initial application, like yesterday's, it sat really nicely, looks quite undetectable on the skin, and overall gives a good coverage. So I'll leave you to see how it lasts throughout the day. Okay, I'm back after work now. The time is 5. Let's see how we are looking today. I think under the eyes are different. Actually, I think there's been a lot less settling under the eyes than there was yesterday. Around the nose, a little bit of bunching again, like I said, same as yesterday. I do tend to get that regardless, so that's quite a common thing for me. The chin, again, the same as yesterday. It's come away at this area here where I eat, so it's going to be spots, but actually the general chin area still on there. Yes, a little bit shiny, but nothing too horrific from what I can see. Also, I'm looking at the viewfinder, so I'm going to take a look at the mirror quickly. Yeah, possibly breaking up slightly on the chin, which it wasn't doing yesterday. So the only difference with yesterday's look was I used a different foundation, so potentially with the Madara foundation, the chin breaks up a little bit more than it does with the Kiko foundation. So yeah, but I think overall it's held up pretty well. Considering, like I said, I think I mentioned before, but I don't touch up throughout the day. I let my face be as it is. So I think for however long, what, 8 hours has it been on my skin for? Almost 8 hours. Oh no, almost 12 hours. I don't know, I can't do maths right now. I think it's held up really, really well. So I'm going to keep on doing more tests. I think the next one I'm going to do a bit of a no makeup look. So I'm going to use it and see, kind of really see what the coverage is like with just the concealer alone. I'm not going to put any foundation on there. So I might just use like my e.l.f. Halo Glow kind of around the perimeters and create a bit of a glowy look. But obviously set the T-zone and see what it's like with that. And yeah, it may be a similar process where it might have to be a voiceover just because I'm very limited in the morning, but I want to get this filmed so it's got like a good day wear test. So apologies, it could be another voiceover like today's, but I'll come back after work and I'll fully talk through how I think everything's looking.
Okay, so next wear test. Like I said, I'm doing a bit of a no makeup sort of style of look. There is makeup involved, obviously. So again, aloe vera gel, and this time I just go with my e.l.f. Halo Glow, but purely on the perimeters, just to add a bit of glow, but also to add a little tiny bit of coverage to the outer portions of my face. Then I'm going in with the concealer. I prefer the brush, so I am going back in with the brush. And what I'm doing with this time round is I'm doing my technique of trying to give a bit more coverage to the concealer. So what I mean by that is I apply the concealer, I don't blend it out initially, I let it sit there for a bit. And then what it does is it kind of half sets the concealer, and then I can go out and blend the rest, and it kind of gives just a bit more coverage in general. And actually you can see by not adding foundation, you can clearly see that actually it gives quite a lot of coverage on the skin as well. So yeah, like I said, I'm going to let that concealer sit whilst I do the rest of my makeup. So just wear cream, blusher, my afterglow, illuminator, and then I go ahead and blend out the concealer properly and add powder as well. It just helps add a little bit more coverage to the skin. So like I said, just setting the skin. And I think the exact same way it has done for the rest of the week, the initial application looks really nice on the skin. So that hasn't changed from what the products I've used, but obviously the wear tests have shown the difference. So yeah, like I said, yeah, everything looks nice to begin with, and good on the skin, and then we'll see what it's like later.
Okay, I'm back. It is 5:30 in the evening. We're going to ignore my nose because I've developed a cold over the day, and I've had to blow my nose several times and it's just all come off my nose. I'm red and I'd be surprised if there's any product there. So we're going to ignore that because that's not fair on the concealer. We're going to look at under the eyes first. And I think I'd say it's held up the same way so far. Again, unlike the first day, there's no it's not settling to my fine lines as much. So that's good in the chin. Again, it's kind of all come off the areas where I eat, but everything else looks okay, I think. Let me just grab a mirror. Yeah, I mean, there is no product on my nose whatsoever at the moment. But yeah, I think everywhere else looks pretty much the same. What do we think? I mean, so far I think I'm enjoying this concealer. I want to do, I'm going to do one more test, I think, just to make sure I'm happy with it. I'm switching up a few products again, just to see which one I think, which combination works the best for it. And I'll give you my thoughts, and then we can move on to the other concealer. Okay, we're now on to the second concealer that we're testing out. So this is the Milk Makeup Sunshine Under Eye Tint. So I got this in the shade 1, which is the lightest one they had. I have a feeling that this is going to be a lot more kind of light coverage and like a no makeup style of concealer. But I'm going to have a quick read and see what the description says about it. Okay, so it says brighten the under eye with Milk Sunshine Under Eye Tint and Brightening. A concealer that provides a light coverage to help minimise the appearance of dark circles, suitable for all skin types, and it works to leave the under eye looking refreshed. Crafted with 99% natural formula, this concealer is infused with vitamin C to help visibly brighten and firm the skin's appearance. Light reflecting powders work to minimise the look of dark circles, while plant-derived squalene and hyaluronic acid provide hydration. In addition, caffeine helps to reduce the appearance of puffiness. Also, it's designed to accept refills, so you can refill this back up. It's vegan, cruelty-free, and it doesn't contain any parabens, silicone or fragrance. So key benefits here: minimise the look of dark under eye circles, help to visibly brighten skin, leaves the under eye area looking refreshed, refillable, vegan, cruelty free, suited for all skin types. So let's see about application wise. So it says click pen to load the antimicrobial, I do know how to pronounce that word but I can't right now, glass rollable with product. 1 pump should be enough for both eyes. Okay. Apply to under eye area and gently blend with fingertips, sponge or concealer brush. Apply more as needed to reach your desired level of coverage. Can be worn alone for sheer coverage, under your favourite concealer as a brightening makeup base, or over concealer for an extra illuminated coverage. Great for all skin types including sensitive skin, mature skin, wipe clean after use if desired. Oh. So you can apply under and over stuff as a brightener. Okay, so we may be doing this one very differently to the other one, and I think we could actually try and pair the two together towards the end of the week, at the end of the tests. I'm going to start off in the same way I've done with the other one, and try and use it as a bit of a concealer. If that doesn't work, then I'll switch it up. Like I said, I'm not trying to compare the two or anything like that. I want to test them to see how they work and what's best for them. I'm going to start off with my aloe vera gel. Today I've got another day off, so like the first time trying the RMS one, I can do a bit more of a check-in and a bit more of a talk to camera. Then when I'm at work, it probably will go back to the voiceovers, and then I'll kind of check in after work. Okay, so I'm going to take my Kiko Insta Moisture Glow foundation, and again I'll do like a bit of a medium-ish coverage. I'll avoid like the under eyes so I can kind of just see the level of coverage it gives me. And if through any of these tests, 'cause obviously I'm mixing up different products, wearing them in different ways, if you use these concealers and you think there's a better way that I could be using them, like something that works for you that I haven't tried, do let me know, because I can do like another separate video testing them out in the way that you guys use them and how you would recommend to use them. So yeah, please feel free to drop that down below. So under eyes haven't been covered, and I've done a little bit of coverage but not enough that's going to cover my spots, just to see how this works. So yeah, I quite like the idea of the application with the rollable. So it says 1 pump should be enough, but I'm guessing to start off with, to get the product going, it may need a few pumps. Oh, ooh. Suddenly the wall turned a different colour. Okay, let's see if that's actually pulled some out. So I'm going to go, actually let's do it in the viewfinder. Apparently 1 pump should be enough for 2. That's a nice rollable, it's not dragging, I will say that. It does look to have a slightly more watery consistency. Ooh, I didn't mean to pump a bit more up, but I did. That's not a bad thing, but it does mean it probably is going to give it a bit lighter coverage. And I will definitely wipe off the ball afterwards, especially with it being near my spot area. Okay, I should have done what I did with the other test and just do one eye at a time, but I got carried away. I'm going to do my finger first, and we'll go ahead and blend that in. I mean, it blends in super easy with the finger. Oh, that's giving pretty good coverage. Like I said, I've completely forgot to do the one eye and then compare. So I'll try and remember to do that tomorrow. but I think that's done a pretty good job there. Around my nose, it's reduced the redness, which is good. Now most likely won't last as I blow my nose throughout the day, but it's good to know when I'm not got a cold. That does seem to be pretty covered. Let's just do down here. I feel like down here I put quite a bit on, so I might need to go in a brush instead. I think I will go with the brush, just because there's a lot of product down there. Oh, what is that? There you go. Do you know what? I'd say coverage wise there isn't actually that much difference from that to the RMS one. We can see if it's, I mean I don't need to see if it's buildable actually, because I say that's done a pretty good job. I'll add a bit more here, but actually in my mind I had it that RMS would be a bit more coverage, and then this one would be a much lighter one, but actually give both pretty good coverage there. And I'd say actually similarly to the RMS one, that almost looks undetectable on the skin. What do we think? Especially like under the eyes. Again, I do think I'm lucky with my under eyes in terms of how dark they are, so I don't need to go in with colour corrector and stuff. So I don't know if you had super dark under eyes how this worked, whether you would need to go in with a colour corrector, or as suggests it's a underneath or over the top concealer type thing to help brighten. So options are out there, but for me I feel like that works. Who knows, when the baby comes I might need to start doing colour correcting with how tired I get, but for now that works really nicely. It's sitting nicely on the skin. It is having a little bit of trouble with this spot here, but let's just, what I'm going to do is pat that on, and I'm not going to blend that in just yet. Let that sit there for a second to build up a bit of coverage, because by letting it dry slightly it does help build a little bit of coverage. I'm going to quickly do the rest of my skin and do a very similar thing again to what I was doing last time. I'll take my concealer brush, just dab lightly in that bit. Yeah, that's better. Just let it sit for a second. And then finally going to set my skin. Okay, so Madeira powder. Take it on my Real Technique setting brush and just set the usual areas under my eyes and my T-zone. And let's just quickly compare the unset eye to the set eye whilst we're here. I don't think that's made any difference in terms of obviously making it look less shiny, but in terms of the coverage, on how it kind of sits on the skin, I would say that hasn't disrupted it at all, made a difference. That's good so far. Obviously we'll see how well it wears throughout the day. We'll do around the nose, even though we know full well I'm going to end up removing half the makeup off my nose as I blow it throughout the day. But at least the thought was there. And we'll do the chin as well. Okay, I'm not going to do anything with the rest of my face, kind of like I did with the first test. I will be adding something to my lips, but I want to film like a mini first impressions with that. So that'll be a short coming up at some point. But in terms of my eyes, I'm going to leave my eyes as is, because like I said, I've got a day off today, I've got a doctor's appointment, but that's about it. So looking at how we're looking, like I said, actually it gave more coverage than I thought it would, which is a good thing. It doesn't look heavy on the skin or anything like that. Like I said, it still looks very skin-like, just like the RMS did as well, which is good. But they're very different textures. Like I said, the The RMS one was a bit more a balmy kind of texture, and then this one's much more of a water-based texture. But both currently sit nicely on the skin. Obviously we know how the RMS is worn throughout the day, so we'll see how this one wears throughout the day. And like the time is currently 20 to 8 in the morning, so I'll do some regular check-ins throughout the day and we'll see how well this is worn. Okay, it's a bit later in the day, it is 10 past 1. This is how we are looking. Like I said, we're probably going to ignore the nose for this one, but under eyes, a little bit of setting the fine eyes, but really nothing at all. It almost pretty much looks exactly the same as this morning, I think. We have the chin. Again, I'm not really seeing, let me just grab a mirror. I don't think I'm overly seeing a difference. I think so far this one's holding up better than the RMS did throughout the day. I mean, I'm going to do another check-in much later to see, but I think so far at this stage this one's holding up better. What do we think? Okay, final check-in of the day. It's 10 past 6. I did have a little 2-hour nap earlier just because I wasn't feeling so great, but this is the last check-in of the day for this one. Let's have a little look. I think under the eyes wise it looks pretty good still. I don't think it's really budged or anything like that. It's not settled any further, I don't think. No creasing. Nose we're gonna ignore. Chin, maybe the spot. Obviously I was having issues this morning. It's starting to come out a bit more now. Let me just grab a mirror. Yeah, it's starting to come out a little bit now, but again, I don't think the chin looks too bad, and it doesn't look too shiny. I would have thought out of the two, this one would come out more shiny at the end of the day, but I don't think it has. What do you think? Sometimes when I review these clips back editing, things look very different, like on camera, than they do in how I'm seeing it in real life. But like, still let me know your thoughts. But I don't think anything's looking too bad. I'm surprised. I thought this one might last a little bit less than the RMS one, just purely because of the type of product it was, but it's lasting pretty well.
Okay, so wear test number 2 using the Milk Makeup one. So again, aloe vera gel to act as a primer, and then I go in with the Madara foundation to give myself a light to medium coverage, just enough to even out the skin tone, but not enough to cover everything, to see how the concealer works. And this time I do remember to show you one eye with and one eye without, so you can kind of compare the coverage of the two. So I'm just using a brush to buff this out. And you can see it's definitely given me coverage and covered what I need to cover for me personally. And then I just go in and obviously just do the other eye and buff it out. Then I'm going to set in with my Madara powder, and then for the rest of the skin I'm using the Hourglass powders like I did before, so the bronzer and the blusher. And again, with initial application, everything's sitting nicely on the skin. The concealer looks kind of very skin-like. It gives good coverage, everything you'd hope for, especially with initial application anyway. And then it's just more seeing how it lasts throughout the day. So yeah, this is how it's looking really nice, I think, on the skin. This concealer definitely surprised me, I think. But yeah, we'll see how it lasts throughout the day.
Okay, so it's just gone at 5 o'clock. We are back home from work. This is how I'm looking. Again, I don't think there's been any overall change, apart from the nose, obviously, because I'm going to blow it. and the eyes and the chin, I really don't think it looks too different from this morning. And with this concealer, I seem to be a lot less shiny towards the end of the day. I don't know, what do you guys think? Yeah. I'm quite impressed with this one. So tomorrow I'll do like the no makeup type thing where I don't use foundation. I'll just go with this concealer and a few other products, see how well it lasts. And then I'll do one final kind of test for both of them. Kind of different types of tests as I mentioned earlier. And then I'll give my final review.
So another no makeup style for this concealer. So the e.l.f. Halo Glow, only on the perimeters, just to add a bit of evenness and obviously a glow to the skin. And then going in with the concealer itself. And again, without the foundation, you can clearly see that it gives good coverage. I did the same technique where I let the concealer sit there for a bit just to get a bit more coverage as well, whilst I did the rest of my skin products. And then I went in and buffed it out. And yeah, it definitely adds a bit more coverage. And like I was saying, without the foundation, you can really see how good the coverage is as well with the concealer. And then I'm setting with the Madara powder, which again leaves the skin looking really nice. Initial application again, with how I've done the technique this time, still sitting beautifully on the skin, still looks really good first thing in the morning, which is good. So yeah, again, we'll come back and we'll see how well this has lasted throughout the day.
Okay, it's 6:20 now in the evening. This is how I'm looking. A lot less my cold's kind of disappearing, so my nose is not as red, which is good, so I don't really have to blow my nose. So it's lasted much better on the nose front. Yeah, this has held up. This one's really held up well, I think, throughout the day. Like I said, I'm not someone, I don't top up anything throughout the day. I don't really touch up powder, add more concealer or anything like that. I let it be as it is. And I do have a relatively oily T-zone. I think that has held up really well. I really like how this one looks actually. So yeah, I'm happy that I picked it up. So I'm going to do, like I said, one more test with each, but slightly different. So tomorrow I'll come back and I'll do the RMS, but I'm going to try it as a foundation as well as concealer. We'll see how well it holds up. I think I'll do my usual routine where I tend to do the cream products and I'll make sure my T-zone's set. We'll see how that works. And then the day after I'll use the Milk makeup one. I haven't decided whether I'm going to do it under a concealer or over a concealer yet, because apparently it can be used for both to help brighten, so I haven't quite decided which way around I'm going to do it yet, but that'll be my final test and then I'll give my final review. Okay, so I'm going to do my final test, the RMS Uncover Up, but I'm going to use it as a kind of like a foundation as well, like it suggests. I wasn't going to originally do this in the video, but I thought it might be quite interesting to see, so I'm going to do that as a foundation and concealer for today. I am going to go over a primer today, but I'm going to focus more on the perimeters of my face and leave my T-zone. So this is the Hello Sunday SPF 50. It's an illuminating glow primer. And I'm going to kind of do my usual go-to routine with my base today, using the RMS as foundation. Okay, so I'm going to go in this. I feel like actually a flat brush is going to work quite well. Whenever I've seen Rosemary's TikTok, she tends to use a flat brush. So like I said, I'm going to use this all over as a foundation and as a concealer. So what I'll do is I'll do one half of the face and then we'll compare the coverage and how the skin's looking, and then I'll finish off the face and add the extra products on top. I've zoomed in a bit too much, you can't see the application. Yeah, it's a very lightweight texture, it's very balmy this as well. But it does give pretty good coverage, but it leaves the skin looking quite nice and skin-like, which is, I think, the perfect balance. Where it covers what you need to cover. I'm just going to try to do half the chin. But it still looks very skin-like. Not like you're putting too much on. Okay, that's actually, I always do this. I used the viewfinder, not a mirror. How we're getting on. Oh. Well blended actually. Yeah, like a very light to medium coverage I'd say, but it's covered what it needs to be covered. And what I might do, although actually coverage wise under the eyes I think it's alright. And the chin, what I might do is then just go with my concealer brush and just add a little extra in some certain areas. So, but in terms of like as a foundation, because it's very skin-like, I bet it's definitely even out my skin, which is nice. You can tell the difference. And I'm going to go a little bit more under the eyes, around the nose, and I'm going to put a little bit more on the chin. And what I will do is I will blend out under the eyes with my finger, because I think actually that was worked quite nicely. It works quite nicely, yeah, applying with a brush, but then just patting out the remainder with the finger. It does help melt in. Just go over this half of the chin. So that's one half covered with the RMS Uncover. Like I said, it gives a light to medium coverage, it definitely evens out the skin tone. You go with extra to cover what needs to be covered. It's very skin-like. The only area it's not sitting quite right is my nose here. I don't know if you can see that further up here, it's not sitting quite right. But sometimes, I've had it before, I think it's the Kiko one, on first application, my Kiko foundation. On first application it didn't quite sit right, but throughout the day actually, as it kind of melted into the skin, it looked really nice on the nose in the end. So we'll see if that's kind of the same situation. But I think overall, that looks really nice on the skin, gives a nice even base, and yeah, very skin-like. Okay, I'm going to quickly go ahead and do the other half of my face. And actually I should say colour-wise, because I'm using this all over my face, it's a pretty good match. Even though in the tub it looked like potentially it was going to be a bit too dark for me. It seemed to work. So this is overall how we're looking. I like how it's looking. Like I said, nose-wise, not sitting quite right, but hopefully throughout the day as it melts in, it will kind of settle down. My Kiko foundation definitely does the same. But I think overall that looks pretty as a foundation as well as a concealer. So going in with my usual kind of routine next, like I said. So I do like my cream products, so I'm going to do predominantly cream. So I'm using the Beauty Concealer in Deep to act as like a cream bronzer. Try not to go too heavy with it. Now I'm using my Real Techniques sculpting brush for this. Just add a pop of colour. I'm not going to bother with the eyes or anything today. Just very much skin focused. Lily Lolo's Azalea. It's kind of my winter blusher of choice at the moment. Same brush. I'm just going to go in and apply. And not that my skin needs any more glow, but we are going to go with Afterglow from Lily Lolo. Okay, final touch for skin is powder. So I'm going with Madara powder, taking my Real Techniques setting brush to do kind of T-zone, and then I will set a little bit of the perimeter as well. slightly fluffier brush, just set the perimeters, keep the rest nice and glowy. This is me done. This is what it looks like if using it as a foundation all over. I think it looks really nice on the skin. Like I said, it evened out the skin nicely. It's not heavy, so it looks very skin-like. But you can go in and build up where you need to build up. So like I said, the only thing at the moment is, although adding the blusher and bronzer over the top helped, it just wasn't quite sitting quite right on the edges of my nose, but it seems to have settled a little bit better now. It's got other products on top. But the time is, it's 9:10. So I will come back at the end of the day, we'll see how this is worn. Like I said, I don't top up throughout the day, so I won't be adding any extra powder, any extra product. I just want to see how it works by itself, no touch-ups throughout the day. So I'll be back much later and we can do a little check-in. Okay, it is 4:05, cutting it a little bit shorter than I usually do, just because we want to jump in the shower and wash our hairs. So I don't want to obviously ruin makeup with showering. So this is how I'm looking. I think, okay, there's a little bit of shine going on here. But I think it's held really well. As a foundation, I actually really like it as a foundation. It's very lightweight. Which is nice. Yeah, I would say the coverage hasn't disappeared on me or anything like that. I'd say the only thing is I just look a bit shinier in my T-zone area, which it's not the end of the world for me. I could, if I really wanted to, touch up the powder. I just choose not to. Under the eyes, a little bit of settling in the lines, which is fine as well. But overall, I think it still looks nice. I mean, this, as a foundation, this bit of skin still looks really, really good. Almost no difference, I'd say. So that's kind of it for the RMS Beauty concealer. I think overall I think it works really well. I'd say it does maybe a little bit shiny towards the end of the day, but I do tend to get a bit shiny at the end of the day anyway. But I think it's held up really well, this concealer. And actually, trying it as a foundation, because I wasn't planning on to, I'm really happy I did, because I think I really like it as a foundation. And I'll definitely get a lot of use out of kind of like using it as a 2-in-1 sort of thing. Yeah, I'm going to give this concealer a good, I'm going to say 8 out of 10. I think it's nice. I think it gives good coverage, but it looks skin-like. I think it holds up relatively well. Like I said, it doesn't, like, the coverage doesn't diminish throughout the day. I just get a bit shinier in my T-zone area. But everything else, it sits nicely. Yeah, so I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. So tomorrow will be the final one with the Milk Makeup one. And like I said, I'm going to apply it either under or over concealer, see how that works, and do a wear test. And that'll be this video done. But for RMS, like I said, 8 out of 10. I think it gives decent coverage. I think it's really skin-like. I think the coverage lasts throughout the day. The only minor thing I'd say is my oils do come through towards the end of the day using this. But I think almost as a foundation, I like it a bit more as a foundation than I do a concealer. But I'd happily use it as both, as like a 2-in-1. So yeah, so let me know your thoughts down below. If there's something that you use and you think there's a better way of me using it or applying it, do let me know, because I'm happy to do like follow-up videos with this. So yeah, this is RMS done, and I'd give it 8 out of 10. Okay, on to the final day of testing of the Milk Makeup Concealer. So like I said, it kind of says you can put under or over another concealer to help brighten. So that's what I'm going to do in today's video. I think I'm going to go over the top because I'm going to use my Kosas concealer. And I think the Kosas concealer's got a bit more coverage in this, so I don't think you're going to see the brightening effect as such if I put it underneath. So I'm going to go over the top, that's my plan. And we'll just see how it lasts, and then that's this video done. So, like yesterday, I think I'm going to go in with the Hello Sunday primer, just more on the perimeters, and a bit of a tacky base, but also just a little bit of a glow. For foundation, I'm going to go with the Kiko one. This is the Insta Moisture Glow. So again, I'm just going to do my usual routine where I use my creams and I just set the T-zone area and the perimeters. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to go with Kosas concealer first, just because it's got more coverage. So I feel like you're not going to see the brightness of the Milk Makeup one if I do that first. So let's add this to the necessary areas. Just to buff that in. Zoom you in and let's go in with the Milk Makeup over the top. Just gonna do one pump. Ooh, oh, there you go. Actually might avoid the chin. No, I guess I'll put some in the centre because it's for brightening. Everywhere else is pretty covered. Let's take it actually a little bit down the nose. And here as well, why not? I do think for my, this is the lightest one I've got, but I don't think it's going to give me that brightening effect actually. I don't think it's quite light enough. So, we shall see. I'm going to do the chin first. Let's pat it in. I think it'll be interesting to see how it sits on top of another concealer. Because it's done pretty well so far this week, this concealer, in terms of how it's lasted and the fact it doesn't really, my oils don't really affect it. It seems to kind of hold up pretty well. So I'm just really intrigued to see how it reacts with another concealer. Okay, so let's have a look. I'm not seeing the brightening effect. Like I said, I think the actual shade number 1 of this Milk Makeup isn't quite light enough for me to do like a brightening effect. I think it matches in terms of like coverage wise to my skin pretty well, but if I wanted a brightening effect I think it needs to be a bit lighter shade just for my skin tone anyway. But I guess you can layer it out, add a bit extra coverage, so we'll see. We'll just see how well it lasts over top of another concealer really. Again, I fancy a bit of bronze today, so I'll go with the Hint Beauty Concealer in Deep. And I probably am going to do my eyes and stuff today because I've got my parents coming round. I'm cooking a bit of a 3-course meal for my mum's birthday. It's a bit of a belated birthday thing, but her gift, well, her original gift for Christmas, because hers is very, very close to Christmas, it was delayed. So the present I got for her birthday, she ended up getting for Christmas instead, in hopes that the one for Christmas would turn up. It didn't, and she said she was kind of happy to wait. And it finally arrived. I said, when it does arrive, you can come round and I'll cook you a 3-course meal. So I gave her a whole bunch of options for starters, mains and desserts, and she went ahead and picked one. I think I'm going to film it and have some kind of content for our joint channel, which would be fun, because I'm going to be lacking with that channel. I'm going to go in with Azalea from Lily Lolo. So actually, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this holds up because I'll be doing a lot of cooking today. Actually, it's not too much cooking. The dessert I can prep beforehand and make up, because it's cold dessert. Starters are almost, I mean, I make them up ready to go and I shove it in, so it's not too much, and the mains is a risotto. So it's actually not too much cooking, but I'll still get hot in the kitchen, so it'll be just interesting to see how well this lasts. Afterglow, Lily Lolo. Let's add some of this on. Madara powder. And I'll do my Royal Technique setting brush to kind of set the under eyes and the T-zone, and I'll use a slightly fluffier brush just to kind of set the perimeters but keep what I want glowing nice and glowy. I'm hoping my nose behaves itself today. It did yesterday for my wear test, so let's hope it holds up today, because I feel like the Milk Makeup concealer has been the concealer where I've had the worst of the cold, so I feel it's not very fair, so hopefully today it will have a bit of a fair advantage, although I think it's probably held up the best out of the two so far anyway. Okay, let's just set the perimeters here. Let's do another light dusting over T-zone. Okay, like I said, I'm going to do a bit on the eyes and stuff because I have got people coming around, so I'm going to quickly do that. Then I'll come back in and show you how everything looks, and then we'll do a check-in later. I'll just quickly finish up the rest of my makeup. This is how we are looking. So obviously everything's sitting nicely, but the big test for this one will just to see how well the Milk Makeup layers over top of the Kosas concealer. Like I said, I don't think it really is giving the brightening effect because the Milk Makeup concealer wasn't light enough for me to do that. But it'll be intriguing to see how well it lasts over top of this. So yes, the time is, it's 9:30. So I'll come back later, do a check-in and round up this video. Okay, time is 25 to 5. So this is how I am looking. Definitely much shinier than I have done with the previous test with this concealer. I think it's the combination of the two concealers. So a little bit off my chin here. Around the nose doesn't look too bad. I think it has a little bit settled into my fine lines, not horrifically. There's a little bit of breaking up. So I think for this, for me personally, by itself, perfectly fine. I think it held my oils at bay better. I think it sat on my skin better and lasted better. So for me, and the coverage that I need, works perfectly fine by itself, and I definitely would continue to use it just as the one concealer. I think that's proved it works quite well. I mean, my skin doesn't look terrible, to be fair, but I think comparing to the other tests of this concealer, by itself better. So that is this video complete then. That is the two videos, or the two concealers tested. Again, I think I'd give this one an 8 out of 10. Maybe even 9 out of 10 actually. Because I think, purely because of how it lasted towards the end of the day, with the exception of this test, it lasted better and my oils, like I said, kept more at bay, I feel like. But I'm very glad I tried both out. I think both were very different concealers. I didn't really want to pit them against each other because they're both very different concealers. The RMS one's a bit more balmy texture. You can use it kind of all over as foundation, which I thought actually worked really nicely. I think if you're slightly more on the oilier side, just be warned that I think it does make your oils come through a bit sooner if you're someone like me who doesn't touch up. If you touch up, then you might be okay. But I'd say that the level of coverage of both of them is the exact same. I think how they initially applied, again, very similar. They gave good coverage, I thought, for what I needed anyway, and they both look quite undetectable on the skin. The milk makeup one's a bit more watery texture, and like I said, I think for me and my T-zone held my oils at bay better. But I think they're both good concealers. Like I said, I gave the RMS 8 out of 10, and this Milk Makeup a 9 out of 10. 8.5 to 9 out of 10, let's go with that, 8.5. For the Milk Makeup one, like I said, I think I don't want to use another concealer. I think it kind of breaks things up a bit more using another concealer. Obviously I've only tried the Kosas one, but that's the only other liquid one I have currently. I could have paired them both together to see what happened, but I thought, to be fair, let's use a concealer I've used quite a bit. So yeah, let me know your thoughts down below. Like I previously said, if these are concealers that you love and use, and you think there's a better way for me to be applying them, or a different technique I should be using to make the most out of it and get the best results, please do let me know, because I'm happy to do follow-up videos on both of these. But I had a real fun time testing both. I'm definitely going to keep on wearing both. I think they did both really well. So you'll see these in videos coming up because I enjoy both of them. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Leave any comments or questions down below. Like I said, give me your feedback if you use these and you think there's a better way of me applying them and using them to get the better result. And any future requests, leave down below. But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.